Hi there. In our devotion today, I want to take you to First Timothy chapter 2. I want to read verses 1 and 2 for our brief meditation today. Let me read it for you. I urge then, first of all, that requests, prayers, intercession, and thanksgiving be made for everyone, for kings and all those in authority, that we may live peaceful and quiet lives in all godliness and holiness. Paul's advice to young preacher Timothy is this: God put people in government who have authority over you, and it is the responsibility of the believer to spend time praying for those who are in authority. He says there's four things that you can do. Number one, requests. Number two, prayers. Number three, intercession. And number four, thanksgiving. All these things can be aimed towards God for the people who God put in authority over you. It is important to pray. Why? Because the leadership takes decisions. Every decision that they take, it affects everyone in the country. Different countries have different governments set up. There are communist countries, there are democratic countries, there are countries with kings and queens. But it is the responsibility of a believer that wherever God has put you, wherever that you are living, you have a responsibility to pray for your government and your leadership. Why? Because it is important. Whatever the decision that they take, it's going to affect everyone. And so, if you want to live a peaceful and quiet lives in all godliness and holiness, it is a great responsibility of a believer to cry out to God for His mercy and grace to be poured upon our leadership. So, take time to pray for your leaders. It is God who raised people up to be kings and put people in the kingship, and it is God who can depose them because God is sovereign. And so we can pray to God who is sovereign, who has all authority over everything, and pray to God for His mercy to be poured out upon the leadership. You can request God, you can pray to God, you can intercede on behalf of the leaders, and you can also give thanks to God for the leadership that God has put over you. Are we taking time to pray for the leaders? I am not saying that whether you like this party or that party. I want you as a Christian who belongs to a different kingdom altogether. We belong to the kingdom of God, but God has put here in different places so that we have a responsibility to pray and ask God for His direction and His knowledge and wisdom over the leadership that God has placed over us. Pray, pray seriously, because Bible also says, if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and turn from their wicked ways and reach out to heaven and ask God, and God will hear from heaven and heal their land. There needs to be a healing in this land. In most of the countries, there are problems after problems that the government is facing. So, as a Christian believer, wherever God has placed you, you have a responsibility to take time to request God, to pray to God, to intercede for your for your leaders, and also give thanks to God, because God is sovereign over everything and He can do things. Every king is under His care. He has control over everything. And so pray to God. Pray that God may continue to bless your nation, that keep that nation in peace and quiet, so that you can live in all godliness and holiness. So the aim of praying for the leadership or the government or the kings and the rulers is that God's grace may be upon them, so that you can live a peaceful and quiet life in all godliness and holiness. May God help you to have that spirit of prayer in your heart, so that you take time to pray for your leaders in government who have authority over you. God bless you today as you take this authority and pray for these people that God has put in your path. God bless you today.